and it seems like common sense. I mean, what's the problem with these people? I mean, what you just said is utterly common sense.
Well, what it is that, George Bush's top economic advisor is from Goldman Sachs. And, no more need be said. And for that reason, they're taking care of their own. They're bailing out their friends and the people who are close to them. And, I don't know anybody who works at Goldman Sachs. And, most people don't. Very small, elite group of people. And, but they're certainly in the White House. And, Obama is hiring all the same people. And, and again, that's why I say, Obama's hardly perfect.
Yeah, and he's a politician, so there you have it.
Well, exactly.
Now, Anti-Flag are basically on the forefront of bands who use your music for activism. Now, do you feel that there's enough bands out there using that medium as an outlet for awareness and change?
Well, there's not a whole lot. I don't think there's enough, to be honest with you, because, look at the times we live in. It's incredible at the times that we live in that there's not more voices of dissent, that there's not more people putting forward ideas that are counter to that of the current administration. And just counter to the idea of warfare. We just, just the ideas that have been put forward throughout the last 8 years. If there's a problem, throw a bomb at it, and I do find it rather incredible that there's not more voices out there, speak out against it, because I honestly believe that, what reaches young people, what gets young people thinking, music and art, and, when all they're hearing is bubblegum, it's not going to prompt people to think about these issues so much.
Yeah, you guys got a lot of material coming up with the state of the world right now. And you're in the process of writing and recording a new record. What direction are you taking with that new material? Who's putting it out? Who's producing it?
Well, I would just say that, with the last record, it was a very kind of personal record. We'd all gone through a lot of intense personal issues in our lives. So there was no way not to write the kind of record we wrote. We were trying to write something introspective and different because we're in a different place in our lives. With this record, I really, in number 2, I think, and Pat and Chris, we just sat down and said, let's write really good, solid punk songs, like songs that, kind of speak our mind to the issues that we have sort of been on the forefront of our minds, but also musically, let's kind of look back at what got us charged in the past. What do we really enjoy listening to? And so we kind of just kicked around those kind of ideas when we sat down to write songs. And, as a result, I think that we have a really great record. It's a very charged record, let's put it that way.
Is there an expected release date?
I'm hoping for the summer of 2009, I guess, late spring, early summer 2009.
That'll be good. That'll be perfect, because you guys are going to be on the Warped Tour 2009 summer, right?
Exactly. So the goal is to have it out before then.
Okay. And you guys are heading straight to the UK after the inauguration gig. What kind of response do you guys get overseas and in the UK?
Well, overseas, I think we do get a fairly responsive audience, because I think they feel like, wow, here come 4 Americans who are anti-war, who have been speaking out against the things that the Bush regime has been doing. So, they're quite often, a lot of people overseas that come up to us and say, well, why don't other Americans think the way you guys do? And, and a bunch of them is that, it's a lot of Americans who think the way that we do, you just don't hear about them as much as you hear, about George Bush, and you don't see faces like mine on the television as much as you see a press conference at the White House. And in that respect, I do like, going overseas and letting people know where we stand. And, I want to look back on this time in history and, be able to say I was speaking out. I was doing what I could to say no and to try to put a stop to the insanity that was going on at that time. And, it kind of comes back to you saying, do you think there should be more bands that speak out? And, I absolutely do. I think a lot of people are going to look back at this time and realize how crazy it was and just think, God, what was I doing at that time? Where was I? Why wasn't I counted? And I, recently went to see the new Tom Cruise movie Valkyrie, and there were people in Germany, even some who belonged to the Nazi Party, who were trying to take down Hitler. Who were standing up in opposition to Hitler, and one of the things they talk about in the movie is the idea that they were doing it because they wanted people to know that there were Germans who did not believe in what was going on. And, that really struck a chord with me because I've always felt that way about injustice in general. It's like, I want to be remembered in life, even if it's just one person who looks back on my life. I want to be remembered as somebody who stood up for something that mattered and, who fought for things that made a difference in someone's life, or at least tried to, who resisted injustice. And I really wonder when we look back on this time in history, how many people will be able to say that about themselves and look in the mirror and feel good about that.
Yeah. Now, is that attitude what you credit the success of Anti-Flag to be? What do you credit your success to be?
Well, yeah, I don't mean to be all self-righteous and indignant with that statement. I'm not saying that, because I did this, I'm a great person, other people aren't. I mean, shit, I could do a lot more in my life, too. Everybody could, But, coming back to your question, I think there's a couple things. I mean, one of the reasons Anti-Flag has been able to do what we've been able to do is that we just really enjoy playing. We really love punk rock, and
you have strong work ethic as well.
Well, yeah, I think that comes out of loving what we do. We just got lucky to do something that we love to do. It's hard work, but and so like anything else, whenever you're doing something you love to do, even though it's hard work, it doesn't feel so much like work. There's times it does, but I think we're lucky to be in the position we're in. So, other than that, sure, I just think that when you're singing or talking about things that you really care about, it's a lot easier to do it. You feel like there's a purpose to what you're doing, then it's a lot easier. So maybe if we were doing something else that didn't feel as purposeful to us, then maybe we wouldn't be doing it right now.
You know what? That wraps up for me, man. That was a solid interview. And final, do you have any shout-outs or final words? Any people you want to say what's up to or promote any other activities you got going on?
Well, I would just say that I'm really excited about the show coming up. I've never seen United Nations, but I think they're a cool band. I love the AKs. I think that this is going to be an exciting show. I heard a rumor, I don't know if this is true, that Darkest Hour, so Darkest Hour is also playing on the show, and they were previously unannounced, so that's pretty exciting as far as I'm concerned. And, but if people are wondering, where am I coming up with some of this crazy shit I'm talking about? Quite often I pick it up at Democracy Now, and you can check out democracynow.org. Democracy Now is an independent news program, and it broadcasts, it streams live, and then you can play it later after like 10 a.m. Eastern time, but it broadcasts live at 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern. And, I think it's a news program that, it's sort of the counter voice to Fox News. It gives you the information that you don't often hear. And it's amazing to me because I'll hear things on Democracy Now that no other news channel is talking about. And then maybe a year later, they'll talk about something that ABC will talk about something a year later that you heard on Democracy Now 6 months ago. They're always ahead of the curve. And it's something worth checking out.
Okay, what's that website?
So it's democracynow.org.
Okay, and you guys are pretty easy to get a hold of. You just Google Anti-Flag, but you guys got a website?
Yeah, www.anti-flag.com, and there's a MySpace page up there too, antiflag.com, or excuse me, I guess it's, type us into MySpace, you'll find us.
Right. All right, Justin, man, I appreciate your time, and have fun at the show tonight.
Of course. Well, I'm gonna do my best, and thanks a lot, man. It's nice to talk to you.
All right, brother. You too.